Have you ever driven past one of those giant windowless buildings and just wondered, what in the world is in there? Well, they're the fortresses of our time, and they don't guard gold, they guard something way more personal. Let's see what it takes to get past the front gate.
Yeah, seriously, every photo you've ever taken, every email you've sent, every dollar you've moved around, it all physically lives inside a building just like this. It's not some abstract cloud, it's a real place holding the digital pieces of you.
Right, so if our digital lives are literally inside these walls, how hard is it to just walk in? Well, as you're about to see, it's not as simple as knocking. The answer reveals this whole world of intense, systematic, and honestly, fascinatingly strict security.
And everything we're about to talk about boils down to this one simple idea. It's not about fancy lasers or anything like that. It's about being able to know in a split second, just by looking at someone, friend or stranger.
See, getting inside isn't just one step. It's a whole journey, a really tightly controlled 4-part process that they call the visitor life cycle. And we're going to walk through it step by step right now.
So here's our roadmap. It all starts way before you even leave your house with pre-registration. Then comes your arrival and official induction. After that, it's all about the escort and the badge. And finally, even leaving is a formal process called departure. You gotta clear every single gate, in order. Okay, so that first gate, you have to pass it before you even start your car. You cannot just pop in. An employee, who becomes your sponsor, has to put your name in the system and officially state the business reason you need to be there. And the bottom line is simple. If your name is not on that day's list, you're not getting in. The journey is over before it even starts. All right, so your name's on the list. You show up, now the real world checks begin. Your government ID, it has to be perfect. It has to match the registration details exactly. No nicknames, no exceptions. Then you'll sign an NDA, because you might see things you shouldn't talk about. Anything you bring with you, your laptop, tools, whatever, gets logged. And even after all that, you sit and wait in the lobby until your sponsor physically comes down to get you. You are never, ever just left to wander around. Okay, you've been ID'd, you've been collected. Now you get the keys to the kingdom, right? Not even close. The next part of the journey introduces the two things that will control your every move from here on out: your badge and your escort.
So that visitor pass they hand you, it's not a key. Inside the industry, they call it a compliance leash. I mean, just think about that name. The badge itself gives you zero access. It can't open a single door. Its only job is to be a big, bright sign that says, hey, I'm a visitor and I need to be watched.
Remember that quote about knowing who belongs just by looking down a hallway? Well, this is how they do it. It's a brilliantly simple color code system. White badge, that's an employee, they belong here. Green, a contractor with limited access. But red? A red badge is basically a visual alarm. It screams, this person should not be walking around by themselves.
And they don't just hope people notice. They have a rule for it. It's called the 10-foot rule, and it means any employee who sees someone with a red badge walking alone is required, not asked, required, to stop them and ask, where's your escort? Suddenly, every single employee becomes a part of the security team. So what about this escort? Well, they're not your friendly tour guide. They are your supervisor. They have to keep eyes on you constantly. And get this, they are professionally liable for everything you do. If you mess something up, even by accident, it's on them. They swipe you through every single door. You, the visitor, never touch a thing. Now, how close does that supervision need to be? Well, it actually depends on where you are in the building. If you're in a lower risk area, like a conference room or the office space, the ratio is 1 escort to 5 visitors. It's pretty manageable. But the second you need to go into the data hall, the actual room with all the servers holding our information, that ratio changes big time. The risk is so high that it immediately becomes 1-to-1. 1 escort, 1 visitor. No distractions. That's the kind of protection your data's getting. So, all these rules, they sound really good on paper, but how do they actually hold up in the real world with all its messy situations? Let's run through a couple of common scenarios and see how the system gets put to the test every single day. All right, first up, the pizza guy. It's late, the night crew is hungry, and a driver shows up at the front door with a stack of hot pizzas. Seems totally harmless, right? So what's the protocol? The answer is simple and absolute. They do not come in, period. Someone from the inside comes to the lobby to get the pizza.
That physical boundary is non-negotiable, not even for extra pepperoni. Think about it. No pre-registration, no business justification, no entry.
Okay, let's try a trickier one. An auditor, say from a big bank, shows up for a scheduled visit. They have a totally legitimate reason to be here. They need to physically inspect the servers their bank is renting. They're on the list, ID is good. What happens now?
The protocol here is something called path of least privilege. They get their red badge, and an escort walks them on a direct path to their company's specific server cage, and absolutely nowhere else. No wandering down other aisles, no peeking at a competitor setup. They see only what they are authorized to see, and that's it.
And now for the final boss. A VIP shows up, a really important executive from a partner company. You might even know their name. They've got a huge meeting, but they were in a rush and left their wallet at home. No ID. They look at you and say, "Come on, you know who I am." What does the protocol demand you do? And the answer, without a single moment of hesitation, is deny entry. This is probably the hardest rule to enforce, but it is the most important. Hackers who use social engineering, who try to talk their way inside, they prey on our natural reluctance to say no to an important person. But the rule is the rule. No verifiable ID means no confirmed identity. And without that, the entire security chain just breaks.
So, you've survived the visit, your meeting's over, time to head out. You can probably just say your goodbyes and walk out the door, right? Well, you'd be wrong. Just like getting in, getting out is a formal, controlled process. You have to close the security loop.
This is your final checkout. First, that compliance leash, your red badge, has to be returned. And if you lost it, that's not an oops. It's a full-blown security incident that launches an investigation. Then they do an assets out check. Remember how they logged your laptop on the way in? They're now checking to make sure that's the only thing you're leaving with. Nothing extra came in, and more importantly, no data is walking out that door.
And that's the whole process, a layered, systematic defense built to control every single non-employee, from the second they're expected to the second they're confirmed gone. So, the question I'll leave you with is this. If this is the incredible amount of effort and strict control they apply to just one person making one visit, what does that tell you about how valuable the stuff is that they're protecting inside?